Guys and dolls, Freedom Dot here. Sorry. So, I just want to run through a few things that we can and cannot say on TikTok. And basically, I'm just going to start with what we know that doesn't go down well and just be open and honest. I think that's all I can do, really. So, first of all, we can't talk about immigration too much. And we can't make any connections with what's happening in the country and certain crimes to that. And we can't mention that there's the majority of them coming over are a certain religion. And we can't connect any of that with the knife crime that's going on in our country. Can't do that now. So, and we definitely cannot talk about the demographic of the country and where we are compared to white people and black people, Christians, Muslims, stuff like that. We can't talk about that it goes up 7% every 10 years, 6-7% every 10 years. So in 20 years' time, when my daughter will be 20 years old, the demographic of this country will be quite different. And that's only on the fact that that's the way it's been going every 10 years for the last, say, 40 or 50 years. I don't think that's a fair representation of what it's going to be like in 20 years because of the influx and the jump up, you know. Yeah. So we can't talk about none of that. We can't mention about like one side not having children and the other side having children to multiple wives, and that will affect the demographic, you know, when my child will be 20 years old. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we can't talk about, you know what I mean, or it'll be considered hateful. Now this is where I've got a problem, you know what I mean, because I'm not hateful, but yet this still concerns me. You know what I mean? It concerns me for the future of my daughter, you know? And I'm seriously thinking about, do I want her to be brought up in this country? You know, that is a thought running through my mind right now. And it's more because the government won't talk to us, won't let us talk to each other about stuff. So, you know, this is my biggest problem, right? That nobody seems to want to talk about, and it's fact. If they're not able to go in and take two vulnerable kids out of a dangerous situation to protect them two children, and the police can't run away from rats and can't go in and do stuff like that, how are they ever going to clamp down on extremism in that community? Just like Northern Ireland and Catholics, you know, Protestants. These were no-go zones for police, so, you know, extremism was rife. You know, so I've seen that with my own eyes, and then I see that happening down in England, and I see the two-tier, and that does concern me, but I can't talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about it because it's seen as hateful. And if you're being hateful, that means you're a racist or you're far right. You know what I mean? That's the thing that scares me, guys. You know, that out of everything, it's, you know, because all that there that we've spoke about, we can deal with it, we can sort it out. It doesn't have to be a problem. But whenever we're not allowed to talk about it and we're able to deal with it, that's when it becomes an even bigger problem. You know, and like I say, I'm not intelligent. I never went to school. Learned to read and write in prison, and reading letters and writing letters and reading books, and, you know, being left in a cell because we didn't have TVs and, you know, or phones or nothing like that. So left in a cell with just a Bible. You know what I mean? I'm not. That's all I am. I'm just like, I know God. I know a godly life. I know how to be kind and considerate, and I know what not to do to get into heaven. You know what I mean? I know what not to do if I want, my beliefs, that's just my beliefs, you know what I mean? Can I talk about that? You know, this is how bad it's getting. So yeah, it is. You can see what the problem is. Why I'm so concerned. Um, we need open discussion about it. We need to find out why the police aren't going in. What does that mean for that area if it's not getting policed? Is there are the Muslims policing themselves in these areas? You know what I mean? You know, because they are seeming to be congregating in one area, in these areas, like segregating, just like Northern Ireland. That's another big concern. You know, that's definitely needs to be spoke about. You know, and we can't even go down the road of like joining in with the community and like being part of our community, like everybody else does. Like everybody else does that comes from any other part of the world. You know what I mean? I've got like 4 or 5 different nationalities just living around me. I could take like probably about 15, 20 seconds. I could walk to each house. I'm talking Russians, Ukrainians, Polish. You know, there's Chinese here, and you know, and Thailand, and you know, Vietnamese. And I'm quite sure there's a lot more than you know. There's a wide variety of refugees. If you want to call them refugees, I don't know. They're just normal people that want to come and stay here, as far as I'm concerned. And their kids go to our schools and everything, and there's no problem. So there's no problem. So you know what I mean? There shouldn't be a problem. There should never be a problem. But when we're looking at England right now, there's a big problem, and the problem we're not allowed to talk about the problem. You know, and you keep bringing more of the problem in. Let's be honest, like you know, undocumented men throwing their documents away are a problem. You know, they're coming to this country and getting rid of their ID. There's only one reason they're getting rid of their IDs, because they've got a criminal record, and they know they won't be able to stay if we find that out. So yeah, there's huge problems, and they're just throwing petrol on the fire as far as I'm concerned. But like I say, the biggest problem is that we can't talk about it. You know, as you see, I got a video taken down today. Just the same thing, just talking about this problem. You know, so I don't know what we do, guys. You know, my Ninger's alive tonight. Sprayers, mate, capital S, Sprayers, mate. If you go to him and Flamingo on it, I'll stick them up. I'll stick them up. So maybe we'll have a chat about it there, like, but what do we chat about? You know, what are we allowed to talk about? It's a sad day. Very sad day in Britain.